welcome to this week's collective energy reading. I'm going to tap into the energy of the collective and see what I can feel. I'm also going to be using the Forecaster Oracle to see what it says about what's coming up in the collective this week, then how that will be affecting the world stage with predictions for that week ahead, and then how we can best navigate that energy in the personal reading in the third section, all using the Forecaster Oracle. Now, I'm away for a couple of weeks, so I will be back with the astrology sections once I return. Let's see what the cards want to reveal for this week's collective energy reading. So in the collective energy this week, first card that fell out was the clear path, the clarity. I almost wanted to stop there, thinking that looks like a pretty clear path ahead for the collective energy. But maybe I think it's just a little bit of clarity coming forward. So I'm feeling this energy to be, when you're coming out of that mental state of brain fog, maybe we're getting a little bit more clarity about certain things. Now, maybe we're seeing how what has been distractions, the energy that's been heating up in the collective energy lately over the last couple of weeks, maybe that is becoming a bit of a downgraded energy. It's changing course. We're doing a bit of a shift of course because I think we have a little bit of clarity around learning what is a fear response and what is real. So I think that the collective is waking up a little bit to be able to get a little bit of clarity of when we're being taken for a ride, or when something enters into our collective energy that feels like it is not real, it's a distraction, it's fake, something about it feels off. This is about where discernment is so important. It's about tapping into your intuition or your gut feeling to think, okay, something about this situation feels off, it doesn't feel right. Now I feel over the last few weeks we've been in this blinding haze. It's been this thick fog of energy. Now some people have been feeling tired over that energy. Some people have been feeling like something's not quite right. We're expecting something, we don't know what it is, but I feel we're getting a bit of clarity moving forward into this week. So I'm basing the whole reading around this clear path, this clarity, because I almost just wanted to stop after that card. So I feel the clarity comes because we're finally able to see or learn, because this is a learning card, how we are forced to live in fear. Maybe we've been in this haziness or this illusion energy, and I think we're all starting to wake up and change course, shift the energy. Now I feel also because our energy is downgrading, the thick fog that was around us, the blanket of thick fog that was causing brain fog, cloudiness, depression, mental struggle, mental health issues that were happening over the last couple of weeks. I feel that energy is clearing to be a bit more clarity moving forward. So where it was tense and over the last few weeks, I feel we've got a much clearer path moving forward, much clearer path for being able to do something about the energy and putting in more innovative solutions or progress. I think that's just progress moving forward. These are all really positive cards, I've got to say. This is probably the most positive I've seen the collective energy over the last couple of months. it feels like it feels like we're seeing through an illusion. It feels like we've been in a thick blanket of fog. Now, I don't know if that's related to the solar energy that's been hitting us, if it's been all the collective energy with the rebellion and the Epstein files and everything else that's been thrown at us. I feel that's been very heavy energy, but I feel that's changing. There's a shift coming. And this is one of those opportunity points, which is amazing, an opportunity, a point to get clarity, to move forward, it's like it's a surge point. It's a surge point for the collective to move forward, to see with clarity, to understand when we're being distracted, when we are being forced to look in one direction, when we should be looking elsewhere to cover something else up, because we've all got this feeling there's something not right about certain things we're being told. We're being intentionally bombarded with fear-based energy, and that has been on purpose, but that is changing this week. We are shifting as a collective to unveil the truth, to finally see the truth of what's been told to us over the last couple of months. That heavy energy we've been forced to live in, that mental health issues energy that's been forced upon us, that brain fog, tiredness, confusion, that's all shifting because we're finally seeing the truth. We're seeing through the illusion, and we've got this course correction or course change moving forward for clear path energy. This is the best collective reading I've seen in months. So I'm really excited about this week moving forward. We've all learnt to open our eyes as to when we are being pushed towards fear. So this is great. Doesn't mean that it's an end to the situation. It means that the other side has to get smarter to fool us again. I just feel there's a bit of clarity in the collective energy coming this week, which is wonderful. So let's move forward into the predictive energy for the week ahead. So this week, moving forward, for the world stage, predictive events moving forward using the Forecaster Oracle. Now, I do see a catalyst event. I see this as a turning point. So I see the energy shift or turn this week. Now, it may mean that we're given a little bit of reprieve, a little bit of a break from fear-based energy. Maybe it's just collective energy just feels lighter this week. However, strategy is still in play to use that to the advantage, or to take a break in order to set intentions for the next couple of weeks. So I don't know if that's the side that promotes fear, is taking a break for a moment until they can come up with the next stage or the next phase. But I do feel in this energy it lightens, definitely lightens. Now it feels to be like a what has been miscommunication or troubled relations in the past. There's an open dialogue for an opportunity of communication or negotiation that happens this week. Negotiations is also on the table for ceasefire. So it's not only a shift in the collective energy, it feels to be a shift in rebellion energy and warring energy as well. There seems to be a ceasefire. Now, I don't know if this is ceasefire between two countries, or if this is just a ceasefire on humanity's collective attacks. So it's a ceasefire either way. It means that the energy lightens, it gets more clearer in the collective, and it feels to be just a bit of a breather week as far as the heavy energies that we've been facing over the last few weeks. Now, celestial trigger, cosmic influence, I feel that always talks about the planets, sometimes talks about the solar activity. Now, we've been bombarded with solar activity over the last couple of months, constantly, one after another, and that has been putting us into this state of brain fog or tiredness, confusion, very heavy energy collectively that we've been picking up on, Schumann resonance, all of that kind of thing. It all affects us as humans, and I feel that we've been bombarded with that over the last couple of weeks. Now, maybe there's a turning point coming this week for those kind of things too. Maybe the sun settles down and stops attacking us. So it feels like it's a rest for humanity anyway. It feels like there's a bit of a break here, and it opens dialogue or communication to try and sort out some of that tense energy. So where we've had rebellion energy between people, I feel there's an opportunity for however long that goes for, I don't know, for ceasefire or negotiation. So they're really positive cards. Now we also have on the table is assistance, support, or intervention. So there's some kind of incoming intervention in order to try and use this energy as a maneuver to get a situation moving better. Something that was troubled takes a break, a ceasefire, in order to open dialogue or open communications because it has been too intense over the last couple of months. So this week is a perfect opportunity for a tactical power play on dealing with troubled relations, whether we're talking about countries, people, leaders, or personal. I will do the personal section next, but I do feel with every one of these cards is a great opportunity on the table because the energy does not feel so as intense as what it has felt over. And I cannot tell you how happy I am to see this finally, because it's been weeks of really troubling energy that I've been feeling. I do feel still a little bit of energy of trickery that's happened, but I think that's happened over the last couple of weeks. So I think that kind of, when we looked at the collective energy, we're seeing right through that now. And that's also an opportunity where the brain fog releases, or that thick, dense fog energy that we've been in the collective, it lightens this week. So that means we can see the situations in truth and clarity, just like we saw in that last spread. So let's see how we navigate this energy, or I feel how we can best use this in our own personal relationships or plans moving forward. So on a personal level, how are we best to navigate this energy? It brings in clarity, it brings in change, it brings in consciousness shift. So I feel it's a shift in the collective energy that we will feel in a personal way. Now I also see with this smart grid rising, I feel it's an opportunity for rising energy this week, which is great because I haven't felt that energy in a couple of weeks. Now we do have the sky agents, drone intelligence. I do feel there's something about that that's bringing in, let me just tap into that energy, something sky related. Usually when I see the sky agents card, it normally means it's something to do with the planets or something to do with the sun, the solar activity, but I feel there's an override here that's taking place. So it feels to be the energy that's been in the collective. People's hearts have been in it because we've got that empathy card there as well, that logical response over empathy that has been in the collective the last few weeks. Intelligence sits on top of a card that says logic versus empathy. So this week, using intellect or mental abilities over heart this week, just to try and see situations for what they really are and find ways to get yourself out of situations that have been in crisis. So if you've felt in crisis, tower card moments, or just where things aren't going right for you, here it's about thinking about mental ways or using the mental activity to think, which just means logic. It just means thinking about the situation, means strategy, and means finding tactical responses in order to move yourself out of situations that have been challenging, situations that have felt like crisis. So it's using tactical responses, which is strategic, which is logic this week. So where it says ethical override, logic versus empathy this week, we are ruling with our heads, because finally the fog has lifted. The veil of confusion has lifted. So our mental activity this week is going to be much clearer. So it's a great time to use our minds for strategy moving forward, goal setting, planning, all of those things that we use where we need thoughts, where thoughts matter. That's also manifestation. All of those things we use our minds for. Maybe you've been feeling that over the last couple of weeks your manifesting abilities have been blocked because they very well could have been because of that very heavy energy that's been in the collective. It's been really hard to have a clear mind for manifestation. So I think this week it's about raising your energy. It's perfect time for that, and using that mental activity to help you visualize your path moving forward. So I think that's the best way to use this energy this week, to surge ahead, mobilization on your goal, your path. So movement forward because of the clarity of mind that's coming this week. Perfect week. Great week to set goals. Great week to do some manifesting. Great week to get a bit of just things set so you can see the clarity of the situation. You're not under any kind of illusion spell anymore. There's not a thick fog of confusion or brain fog. It's lifted this week. So use that mental activity this week. And finally, a good one. So hope you enjoy this week, and I will be back again next week.